What's up, docs? It's Doc McJohnson here, and today I am coming at you with a video on, as the title says, how you become a pediatrician. I've gotten a fair amount of questions from a lot of you guys, either through DMs or sometimes you guys will email me, or just asking general questions about what you need to do to become a pediatrician. And so I figured I would do a chit chat get ready with me video because obviously I was getting ready, and talk about that a little bit. And of course, if you guys have any more additional questions, feel free to comment down below. And yeah, that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so I have about an hour to get ready, and I figured I might as well do like a chit chat get ready with me. My hands are ashy, sorry about that, but yeah. And some of you guys have been asking for me to talk about what to do or how you become a pediatrician, the steps to take to become a pediatrician. So figured I'd do that in this video while I get ready. This is kind of be a one take. I'm still gonna edit this, but I'm trying to just record straight through so I don't have to touch anything on the camera. But yeah, so how do you become a pediatrician? So you definitely have to first decide that you want a career in medicine. First of all, myths and misconceptions. Being a pediatrician, if you just want to be a straight out pediatrician that sees kids in an office or in the hospital, you're not gonna be big ball and shot calling if you're just gonna be a pediatrician. Pediatricians are one of the lowest paid doctors, so you really have to want to do this. It has to legit be a passion for you, otherwise you're gonna be miserable because you're not gonna be balling and you're gonna be mad that you're not balling. So that's the first thing. Second thing, any career in medicine, just know that you're going to be making a lot of sacrifices, especially when it comes to your time, your timeline of things. A lot of things might have to be delayed. For example, if you want to have a family and get married, you definitely can do all these things while in medical school, but for a lot of people, or while you're training, but for a lot of people, it doesn't really work out that way, so you might have to sacrifice that. So you can see me in the background. Oh well. Now, on to the technical things that you guys probably really want to know. Of course, you have to finish high school, graduate from high school. It definitely helps if you have really good grades coming out of high school, mainly because you can get scholarships. So for me, I think I mentioned this before in my Draw My Life video. By the way, if you have not seen my Draw My Life video, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to leave a link to it in the description box down below, and then also over here, up here, maybe up here, in the eye icon. But yeah, so I graduated as valedictorian of my class in high school. I had scholarships to a couple of different schools, but what I did, and I guess I should just tell you guys what I did to become a pediatrician, right? Maybe. So what I did was I applied to college as part of early admission, applied to a lot of different colleges. One of my top schools was Howard University, and one of the main reasons for that is because they have a BSMD program. The BSMD, Bachelor of Science / MD, medical doctorate program, is a 6-year program, an accelerated program where you only do 2 years of undergrad, and then you finish that and you move on to med school. You still have to take your MCAT, still have to get a decent score on your MCAT, but it's less pressure, and you're basically, once you fulfill the criteria to stay in the program, meaning you got a certain GPA, I think it was a 3.5, you're basically guaranteed a spot in Howard University College of Medicine. So let me spray my face real quick. So yeah, I applied to, first you have to apply to Howard University, undergrad, College of Arts and Sciences, and get in. Did that. Then you have to apply separately to the BSMD program. You have to go through an interview process. And I think this program still exists. And it's not just at Howard University, by the way. It's at a couple of different schools around the country. Like Brown used to do it. Johns Hopkins used to do it. They probably still do, and there are a couple more. If I can find them, I will put a list down in the description box below as well. Lots of helpful info in the description box today. So yeah, I applied to the BSMD program, got an interview, got into the BSMD program. Woohoo! Big things popping. And I also got a full scholarship that covered my tuition to Howard University, so that helped a lot. And the great thing about that scholarship is that it was for 4 years. So I did only 2 years of undergrad. So it covered both of my 2 years of undergrad plus half the tuition for 2 years of medical school, because tuition for the med school is about twice that of undergrad. So I still had to take out loans. I definitely, in hindsight, I should have worked a little bit harder to try to apply for more scholarships, because I would have been completely debt-free coming out of med school. So my advice would definitely be apply for as many scholarships as you can before college, during college. Get that money. Get that money. So yeah, I majored in pre-med / biology with a minor in chemistry. In order to keep my scholarship and stay in the BSMD program, I had to get, I think, like I said, a 3.5 GPA, which I did. I took the MCAT. Honestly, I can't remember what score, but the MCAT, by the way, because some of you are probably like, what's the MCAT? It is a kind of like the SATs, but to get into med school. So you have to, I would recommend definitely taking a prep course for any standardized tests, but especially when it comes to the MCAT, because it helps. During my 2 years of undergrad at Howard, I had to take a lot of credits. I think I was taking 18 credits a semester, possibly. And then one of my summers, my first summer, I'm pretty sure I had to do summer classes. I had to do physics and I think something else during the summer, plus research. So all of these things, getting good grades plus doing research, whatever kind of research in the field of science or medicine, helps to make you more appealing to medical school. Even if you're not part of a BSMD program, if you're just applying to medical school in general, two things, well, there's a lot of things that make you appealing to a medical school. One, grades. Two, having some kind of research experience in the medical field. Three, having some kind of clinical experience, but nothing that's too pressured. So if you've like shadowed a doctor in the field that you're, or the specialty that you're interested in, that helps a lot, because then you can know what you're talking about when you're in the interview process. And another thing is community service, because medicine is, it should be, and it really is, if you're doing it right, a very selfless field. And so most medical schools will want to see that you actually care about people. So yeah, 2 years of undergrad, 18 credits a semester, one summer of, one or two, honestly, summers of research plus summer classes. Then it's the interview process, the application and the interview process after you take your MCAT and you're applying to schools. So for the interview process, you of course wear a nice little suit, and I'll put a link to an article down below about how to prepare for a medical school interview, because I think that'll be more informative than I would be right now. But it's really important, all of that being said, to be prepared. So you apply to medical school, or I applied to medical school, interviewed, got in. Now, honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I went into medical school not really knowing what I was up against. And when I say that, I mean, medical school is intense. Like, you know that if you're gonna become a doctor, it's gonna take a lot of work. People tell you that, it's a thing. What they don't tell you is that there are always exams, basically for the rest of your life. Once you start medical school, you're always gonna have to take an exam. What does that mean? So of course, as you're going through different topics, you have exams on different topics. You do anatomy and physiology, you have exams on the different systems of the body. Cool. But then, once you finish, hold on, let me blend my neck real quick. So then after your first 2 years of medical school, there is the first step of 3 steps. And a step, it's not a literal step, it's an exam. What kind of exam, you ask? Well, the step 1 is an 8-hour exam. Yes, guys. 8 hours sitting in front of a computer, answering questions. Step 1, after your second year of medical school, is an 8-hour long exam. You get breaks, but it's like, it's an endurance thing. And that's all of medical school, all of medicine, honestly. It's like endurance. Yes, you have to learn. Yes, you have to be smart. Yes, you have to be a good doctor, but you gotta be willing and able to tough it out, because whew, it'll try you. It will try you, honey. After your second year of medical school is usually when you start actually doing doctory things. So your first 2 years, it's for the most part spent in a classroom. You're sitting, you're learning, you're getting lectures, you're taking tests. That's all you're doing. And you're questioning, why did you decide to do this? Because you're getting a semester's worth of information in like a week. Stress, guys, stress. But after your second year of medical school, after you pass your step 1, you start third year, and that's when the fun kind of begins, because you are actually in the hospital, legitimately taking care of patients, and you go through all of the specialties of medicine, or all of the most common specialties of medicine. So surgery, internal medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, basically all of the medical specialties. And of course, the reason for that is to make sure that you are a well-rounded doctor. Even though you might decide that you're going into surgery, you might still want to know what a baby looks like and how to like examine one. You know what I'm saying? Third year is pretty fun. Sometimes it can be stressful, especially if you are rotating through a specific specialty that you're not really fond of. It can be a little stressful because you're like, I don't even want to do this. Like, why am I here? But super important, very educational. So that's third year. And then of course in fourth year is the best, because you kind of get to tailor your clinical experience to what you're more interested in. So you can do more electives in, for example, for me, pediatrics. So some of the electives I did some outpatient pediatrics where I was in the office. I did some stuff with adolescent medicine or teenagers. I spent some time in the neonatal intensive care unit, or the baby ICU. So yeah, just basically try to get more experience in pediatrics. Now, after your, hold on, after your third year of medical school, you have to take step 2. And there are 2 parts to step 2. So the first part of step 2 is the exam part. So you have another 8-hour-long day of testing. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay. Again, there are lots and lots of great resources to help you practice and study and train for this stuff. Step 1's all the steps. So that's step 1. Step 2, CK. Then step 2, CS. It's like fake patients. So it's for a day. You go in and there's fake patients that you have to go evaluate and assess and come up with a plan for them. I really hope my makeup turns out okay with all this talking and stopping, because y'all know that Fenty That panty dries down like nobody's business. Anyway, so CS, the fake patients, you have to pass both of those in order to be really competitive when it comes to the next part of the journey, which is interviewing for residency positions. So this is another thing I didn't realize coming into medical school. I didn't realize that there's actually a chance after you finish medical school, after you have slaved away for 4 years, you got your degree, you are a doctor, there's still a chance that you might not have a job. There's a chance that you might not get into the residency with your specialty, like your specialty residency, because if you don't do well in your courses, if you don't do well in your exams, you might not match. I'll go back to that later. I think this is like one of the most fun parts of medical school because you apply to tons of different places. A lot of them will pay for your travel and your hotel. They'll fly you out. You get to do the interview process, which is also kind of stressful, but it's fun because you get to travel to places that you might not have ever considered living in and get to know more about where you could potentially be training. So that's honestly the most fun for me. So you interview at tons of different places. If you guys want me to talk more about the residency application process, let me know, because that is a video in and of itself, honestly. But you apply, you interview, you make a rank list, you find out where you're going to be going. Again, separate video. But you find out where you're going to be going, and you match to a program, and you start residency training. So each medical specialty has a different duration of time when it comes to how long you train. Pediatrics is 3 years. Yes, guys, 3 years. So you do, if you're going the traditional route, 4 years of undergrad. We're gonna add this up. 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency training. How many years is that? 11 years. For me, 2 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency training. How many years is that? 9 years. So you cut off 2 years, which is pretty awesome. So during your residency training, that's where you learn how to be whatever type of doctor it is you're trying to be. So you learn how to be a pediatrician, and you go through all of the different areas of pediatrics, and there are tons. So there are subspecialties. So you learn how to possibly be a pediatric gastroenterologist, stomach and intestines doctor, a pediatric pulmonologist, allergy, neonatology. You spend some time, of course, being a pediatrician in the hospital, being a general pediatrician in the community. It's pretty fun. Like that was the best. I love my pediatric residency experience. I trained at Lehigh Valley Health Network, or the Children's Hospital at Lehigh Valley. I loved my program so much. My program director and associate program director, all of my attendings, my co-residents. Oh, love those guys. Love those guys. I had a really great experience in residency. So then, again, tests. During your first year of residency, which is the hardest year, they call it the intern year, you have to study for and take step 3. Final step in the process. So that happens. Oh no, what did I just do? Bro. So yeah, that happens during your first year of residency, and once you're done with step 3, which is still like general medicine, and you get into your specialty, you have to start studying again. Why, you might ask? Because every specialty of medicine, including pediatrics, has a board exam. And the board exam is basically to say that you have learned what you need to learn in order to be qualified as a pediatrician. And you take that at the end of your residency training. So at the end of 3 years, you have an exam to take. And that exam, guess how long it is? 8 hours long. You see the trend here? 8 hours. It's a marathon, guys. It is a marathon. So during residency, there are resources. Most residency programs, they kind of have a built-in curriculum to help you study, but you have to do a lot of it on your own, obviously. So you study, you work, try to have a life, try to stay sane. So yeah, you graduate from residency. Once you graduate, or even before you graduate, during your last year of residency is where you have to make pretty important decisions. So you have to decide whether you are going to just become a general pediatrician, and I don't say just because it's a very important job, guys, or if you want to specialize. So if you want to become a pediatric cardiologist, that's additional years of training. So it can be usually 2 to 3 years depending on what area or what subspecialty you want to practice. So let's count it up again. 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of pediatric residency training, potentially up to 3 years of subspecialty training. How many years is that, guys? 14 years of your life. 14 years of your life, bro. Dedicating to your craft. Whew. And yet, and still, one of the lowest paid specialties. But anyway, if you decide that you want to do a subspecialty, so for example, pediatric cardiology, you go through the whole interview and match process all over again during your second or your third year of residency. And then once you graduate from residency, you start that training. But if you decide that you just want to do general pediatrics, you start looking for a job. Lots of different ways that you can find a job. You can, if you want to stay with the hospital that you've been training with for your residency training, then you can definitely apply there, because most hospitals, they're looking for new people to come and work. So that's one way. You can definitely check whatever the association is that you're with. So for me, it was the American Academy of Pediatrics. They have job listings, networking, and going to conferences, which is something that you can do during residency as well. Helps with the job hunt as well. So yeah, you apply for a job. Ideally, you get a job and just start working and doing exactly what you have been, striving towards probably your whole life, most of your life. 14 years, possibly 11 to 14 years. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. I will finish up my face, I think, and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit more about the process if I think of anything else. But yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, guys, this is the finished look, and that's pretty much everything that I think you need to know. Oh, the only other thing is that as far as testing goes and staying board certified, you do have to take, again, testing. You do have to take another test to renew your board certification every 10 years. And I think they're changing the way that that's done, but typically it's a 4-hour test instead of 8-hour day. So yeah, but like I said, they're looking into changing that. So hopefully by the time I have to get renewed, I have to sit for a 4-hour test, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Thumbs up this video if you really enjoyed it and if you found it helpful. And if you guys want me to talk more about different aspects of medical school or just life in general, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. And comment down below, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of you might already be grown up and you're thinking about changing, but what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you working towards? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you are new around here, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to it. That way you don't miss out on any videos that I upload. And as always, don't forget to be brave, be kind, love God, love people. Bye.